not gone to plan today. We've gone to fit the meshes up. We only got one bolted up.
Welcome back to episode 61, all action this week. Big week in store in Manchester. So Monday morning we are back on site. And if you're a regular viewer, you'll recognise where we are. So, let me just show you how JMO and Stuart got on last week and show you what we're going to do this week. So last week JMO and Stuart put the cable tray up. So all the cable can run. We've got Henry, Stockwell Engineering, looking suspiciously busy. He's back on site with us this week. We've got young George, we've got JMO, we've got Stuart. I'm supervising this week, aren't I, Henry?
Black hat.
Black hat. Look official. Can I borrow yours? Because you're not going to need it this week, are you? So Henry's putting some more cable tray up, so it goes up and it's going to bend across and marry up with the cable tray on the wall. So all of this equipment here will run the cables back to this corner post, come up and then into this cable tray, and then it will come all around here. And the control panel is going to sit just here. So we've got a nice wide section there to just bring the cable tray down. All the wiring from over here is going to be clipped underneath this beam here. Come onto this cable tray, go along there. We have also got a picking line belt in place. Handrail has been done here, so nobody can come across and jump on the belt, because that's a big no-no. You can just step onto that belt. So we've guarded that with a handrail, all looking quite smart. So this is the picking belt, so material will come up here. There is some side skirts to go down both sides of this conveyor, which you can see the holes, but you'll notice on a lot of our conveyors, if we do fit the side skirts whilst we're assembling it, and that we will lift the side skirts up, because sometimes when you start the belt will wander one side or the other. And it could be that the side skirt could potentially get trapped underneath the belt. So what we'll do is we'll get these running, get them tracked up. And then when they're running centre, we'll put the side skirts on then. Sean's got the cables and everything here, pre-wired to the right lengths. This one here is going to go to the motor, which is going to be on this shaft here. Every single motor's got an isolator switch next to it, and the idea of the isolator switch is, if you wanted to work on that motor down there, you would turn this off, and you can put a padlock through that hole just there, if you can see. So you put a padlock through there, and that means that you cannot operate that motor. It is turned off and locked off. Still got some handrail to put down the stairs here, so that is still to do, but the rest of it is starting to look quite tidy. So we've got the electrician coming in on Wednesday this week. He's booked in for 3 days, so we're going to get all the cables run back to the control panel. Control panel should hopefully be with us tomorrow. Put that in position. We've got the Truml, 2 other conveyors, and the feeder hopper coming up on Wednesday, maybe Thursday this week. Should have been today, but it's been delayed. Transport has been delayed. So we're cracking on with what we can do, running cables ready for the electrician. Final position is some of the conveyors, just having a general tidy up, bolting stuff down, finishing stuff off, guarding, under trays, underneath conveyors, all that sort of stuff. So we're going to crack on now. We'll catch up with you in a bit.
Not gone to plan today. We've gone to fit the meshes up. Thankfully, we tested them. So we only got one bolted up. This is for the Manchester project processing plant Truml. I'm talking about. I'm sort of jumping in there a little bit, and it didn't fit. So the hole centres were 60mm out, which is not good news. Deadline's already quite tight on this project. Not what we need in the workshop. There's 3 of us in today, myself, Colin and Ashley. Connor is out, a load of the other lads on site, and some lads on holiday, so yeah. But yeah, not going to plan today on that. George has rectified that, so Colin has cut that and tested it now. In a few moments we'll get hopefully the rest of them cut, and then Ashley can fold them. We can do another double check once we've got a pair done. Over here we've got conveyor 1, this one is. So this is the first conveyor in the whole processing plant apart from the feed hopper. So this goes from the feed hopper to the Raptor trommel. This is pretty much it. There's not much more to go on this. Bit of a tidy up, bit of a wipe down. And you will have noticed, probably, the sharp-eyed people watching, that these side skirts, we don't have all the bolts in, and they are lifted up, they are not touching the belt. That is for a very good reason. So the plan with this is that Gavin will be tracking this up on site with the lads, and they don't want the side skirts to get in the way of that. They want to be able to track the belt perfectly fine, and then lower the side skirts onto the belt afterwards. So that is the reason for that. A little bit different to how we do it. We're trying it this time. We've done it before previously, but not a normal way of doing it. This over here, conveyor 2. So this feeds from the trommel to one of the other machines. This here, pretty much done as well. So you can see again, we've got the side skirts lifted up out of the way. Yeah, all in all, this one is pretty much there. I think there's some slight little tweaks that I need to do from where people have done them, and I just need to adjust, but nothing major. Nice little conveyor, this one. Follow through into the main workshop. We've got these meshes that Ashley has rolled, so it took us probably about 3 or 4 minutes to get the first one sorted, and then from there it probably took us about 1.5 minutes per other one of these rollers, one of these meshes, sorry. But yeah, we left the machine set up, so we only had to tweak it by about 1/4 of a turn to allow the material to go through, but then tighten up 1/4 of a turn to get the final bit of adjustment. Nothing else in here today. Very quiet, empty workshop, which isn't a bad thing. Plenty of work on, too much work on sometimes even, but we're getting there. Like I said, we've got lads on site, lads on holiday, so yeah, dream team holding it down in the fort today. You rolling? Nice. So over here we have the feeder hopper. This is the actual hopper part, fully painted. I believe there's stickers to go on it still. The only thing left is putting the bolts in for what I call the spine. So you can see across here there's a thick bit of plate that's been folded, very, very strong. We've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits of solid 30mm round bar. This is essentially to take a bit of the weight off of the belt, so not all of the weight will be sitting on the belt jamming it up. This is just a nice way to sort of feed it down gently onto the conveyor belt to feed it through to the next. I think that's really it with this. So there's a few more bolts to go in this, and then this is sort of like a lump sum going to site as is, and the rest of the work will be done on site. So the other thing that happened earlier was the E21C that went out. So that went out with a 50mm top mesh, 25mm bottom mesh, 40mm and a 30mm spare with a generator. So we supplied it with a generator. It can be taken to site in any destination, put it in the middle of a field, middle of the desert, wherever you want, Amazon rainforest, it'll work. So yeah, supplied with a silenced generator. The guy is taking it to Ireland. He's going to be hiring it out. This is his first hire machine, so hopefully he very much likes it. So he saw us online, we had stock, and he was very keen to get over here. So he stayed the night at a local hotel, and then I think, so he picked it up 3 hours ago, and then, so it's currently 2:30 in the afternoon. Yeah, probably a bit more than 3 hours ago he picked it up. And he's got a 2 AM ferry back home tonight, so yeah, not a fun one for him. But it's his first hire machine, ready to start making him money as soon as he gets back.
So it's Tuesday morning. As I said, me and Adam are on a course today. It is a video scripting and editing course or something like that. As a business, we're part of a business group up in Birmingham, and they hold different courses. Some of the other team have been on different courses: marketing, sales, business management, and all that sort of stuff. So most people in the office have been on one of these courses over the last few months, and today is mine and Adam's turn to come up here. Just waiting for him to turn up wherever he is. We're doing a video editing and scripting course or something like that, so could be an interesting day. If you see a YouTube channel a bit different from now on, that's because we've learnt stuff. He's ringing me now. He's lost. He says that he was just round the corner. He's obviously not. That was Adam on the phone telling me that he's gone to this company's old address. He's about 10 or 15 minutes away. They moved about 3 months ago, and only Adam would go to the old address. Well done, Adam.
So have you got a little thing that you...
So me and Adam had just come out. We've finished our video, what was it, scripting and recording course. I thought it was editing, but it's not. It's video scripting and recording. So we've come up here today, learnt some different bits and bobs about how to craft a video as part of the scripting process, and then we've had to record a piece to camera. We get on with the job, help each other out, and have a laugh along the way, which we couldn't think of anything relevant for the business we wanted to do here, so we've just done, why would you want to work at Spitfire Engineering? Well, of course the answers are obvious, surely. If you've been watching the channel, you know full well why you'd want to work at Spitfire Engineering. But yeah, we've recorded it. They're going to edit it for us and send it over to us, so it'll be interesting to see what they come out with. But you've picked up a few bits today, haven't you?
Yeah, there's a good few little things there that I'm sure that we can take into our videos as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Good learning curve. Probably the best one so far, I think, that I've took from.
Yeah, I think so. So I'm heading back to Manchester now for the lads. I'm back on site tomorrow on the Manchester project. Adam is going to go back and continue filming and editing stuff in the workshop. And you're off, Nick. I'm not going to see you now for a fortnight, am I?
Sad, isn't it?
He's back off on holiday again next week. Where you go next week?
Polska. Going Poland for a bit.
Going Poland for the week. So I will catch up with Adam in nearly a fortnight, and I'll catch up with you in a bit.
So the Truml behind me, meshes are currently going on. Really not gone great, to be honest. We've had to swap them out. So where things have been slightly different from the drawing, nothing major, but it's sort of accumulative, sort of already built up. And the meshes haven't quite fitted how we want them to, so they've taken way longer than they needed to. But we're getting there, positively, we are getting there. The meshes are going on.
Use the
tightening up nicely, which is good news. So yeah, the way we do our meshes, they sort of like all connect into each other. So the rows, or within the rows at least, they all bolt up and tighten each other up as they all tighten. So if one was to, say, become loose, it would tighten up another one, and they'd sort of all help each other essentially, which is a pretty good, solid way of doing it, I think. What else is there? Not sure what else there is, to be honest. It's getting there. A few more doors to go on, a few stickers, and then this will be going out tomorrow. In other news, Georgina has been sent some clips from Aiden in Ireland. So just over 24 hours ago, he was here demoing the machine with us, so he would just make sure he'd already purchased it, but make sure he was happy with it, working out how it works. So we gave him probably about half an hour, 45 minutes worth of training on it. That's perfectly fine for the amount of time it's needed on the machine. Yeah, he saw it run up, and then now it is currently earning him money over in Ireland. So it's had its first customer. He's planning on hiring this out to many other customers over the next many years, hopefully. So yeah, if you have any interest in screening material, if you have any questions, if you think even you might need a screener, speak to Georgina. So her number and email will be up here on screen somewhere. So yeah, he's screening soil, but these work for soil, wood chip, metal, sand, plastic, whatever you need. Speak to the office.
Back on site Wednesday morning. JMO loves being on camera. Been doing some work in the hotel, just got to site catching up with the lads. Let's get you up to date with where we are on this project. So we've got the hole cut in the wall for the conveyor, which is just being loaded in the yard. Truck coming up here with it today, so that's going to come from here and go up at a very slight angle to feed the feeder hopper inside. We're just putting together the bunker to go underneath the trommel, so that's going to come across and then come along here to about here somewhere and come back this way. 3 high are these Lego blocks. We're 1 metre of the way from the wall, so they can clean up behind, which is sensible. Let's have a look inside. So the belt people have been in this morning and run the belt up to the top, but there is a kerfuffle. There's been some confusion over the length of the belt, and the belt is too short. They've taken our completed length and not allowed for the splice on the joint, so that is going to be resolved next week now. It's just one of those things. George is still putting cable up around the back, and I think Stuart is on handrails. We've got some electricians here putting some lights in. Our electrician is here terminating the wires on the electric motors. So he's doing that, and the control panel is coming up on the truck later on. All the wires are now back to here. So all these wires coiled up here, they're all to do with the control panel, which is going to sit over here. So we can do that in a bit.
Manchester processing plant Truml is on its way, or is on its way to being loaded onto the back of the lorry. To be honest, this is probably my favourite Truml looks-wise I've ever done. The colours, everyone was a little bit sceptical at first, including myself, but I think it's worked out really well. So yeah, the 2 tones are really nice, and then I think the panel work on this has just really topped it off nicely. The doors, the stickers, all of that. Yeah, I'm really impressed with this, to be honest. Yeah, we've got Conveyor 2 going on in a minute. So Colin and Ashley are sorting the last bits out with that and getting that ready to come onto the truck. So, yeah, hopefully next time we see something like this, it'll be on site being unloaded.
This week's update is really exciting news. We are going to Plant Works at Nottingham Showground on the 23rd, 24th and 25th September. You can come and see Gavin, myself, George the CAD designer, Adam's going to be there, Archie's going to be there, Alicia's going to be there. In fact, I'm not sure who's going to be left, but there will be stuff to see and do. So we're bringing 2 big products with us. Come and meet us, stand A34, we're outside, so bring your umbrellas, bring us a cup of coffee. I like oat milk latte, decaf please. Yeah, no, it's really exciting. We've never shown there before. We usually do RWM in September, but we're hitting it up a bit different this year. So yeah, we're taking 2 big products. We'll tell you a bit more about those, and we'll probably show you some of the prep that we're getting involved with, because it's really exciting. That's Alicia's job, so she is prepping for the marketing side of that. So yeah, come and meet us. It will be really exciting. Other news, we are hiring again. Seems like we're always hiring. So I am looking for currently a mobile service engineer. I've put an advert out on Facebook and they seem to be quite popular. So we've had some CVs in. By the time you watch this, I will probably have interviewed, I think. So we've got a contract that we have 2 service engineers on permanently. One of them is saying au revoir to us, which is sad. But we move. We are getting a replacement, so yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. What else is going on? We are up still in Manchester, which I think you'll have seen on the rest of the video. And Gavin and I are going to a business conference all day tomorrow. That's going to be really interesting. There's a phenomenal, very well-known public speaker that we're going to go and be listening to business-wise. He's one of the dragons off Dragon's Den, so we might tell you a bit about that. So yeah, catch you soon.
So the trommel has arrived, just about to put that into position. We've just unloaded this conveyor and some legs all the way over there. So the driver's just going to get in position now so we can do a lift with this trommel into position. Just doing the final positioning. Because of the sizes of these concrete Lego blocks, it's been a bit tricky to build a bay just the right size. So the far end is going to be level and get it on that top beam as much as possible, and then the other end's going to come on here. Ideally we would have it coming this way a bit more so that that drum falls clear of the wall, but unfortunately not. We're going to see what it looks like once we get the conveyor in place, but I think we're about there with that now. Set back from the edge. So that's us just packing up for Wednesday. Truml is in place. Quite like the colours actually. Didn't think I'd say that. But I do actually quite like the contrast between the white and the grey. Don't worry, it'll always be blue and grey whilst I'm in charge. Would have liked that drum to have stuck out a little bit more, but because obviously we're dealing with Lego blocks and they are a set size, we could have made it a little bit smaller, but then we would have ended up with this wall here potentially coming from here across to here, and then we'd have ended up with the drum discharging the fines on top of a little bit of the wall. So that's why we did it the way we did. This conveyor here was actually going to come at a very slight angle, so it was going to come up here at an angle, but looking at the drum, where the drum is straight down, this is directly below the drum. So we are slightly off, which we knew we were, but because the trommel is going to rotate clockwise, all of the oversize will build up here and spill out onto this conveyor here. So what we can do is bring this conveyor over so the conveyor is slightly offset here, and then it will come in a straight line straight onto the feeder hopper, or the feeder, shaker feeder in there, because I was worried with that being so tight up against there, if that conveyor was at an angle, the hopper would be touching here, but over this side we potentially could have been out here, and the material falling out the drum would have fell in the gap. So we're going to keep it so that the back of the hopper is tight up against these blocks, and run the conveyor straight up there into the feeder hopper. So good job done today. Got that in place. Got my hard hat on because we've been lifting. For the people in the comments that think we don't wear hard hats, we do when we're lifting. When we're doing normal stuff like running cables and stuff, we don't, but whenever we're lifting, we do have hard hats on. So the lorry driver wouldn't put the control cabinet on his lorry. Apparently he'd been in the yard for 3 hours, wasn't waiting any longer. So we've got the pallet network bringing that up tomorrow, and he wouldn't bring the brackets for the conveyors either. So they're coming tomorrow with that. So we can't put that conveyor there in place yet until they've turned up tomorrow. So that's tomorrow's project. Get that done, finish running some more cables, probably get some more stuff bolted down in here. And then the feeder hopper, which is going there, that is coming up on Friday, as well as the long conveyor that will run from there up into the trommel. That's coming Friday. So this job is going to run into next week, which we sort of expected it would, but we just didn't know quite how much was actually going to be left to be done for next week. So that'll come, and we'll probably put that in place on Friday, and then that'll be it for this week. And next week we'll come up, get those wired up. We've got an electrician coming in for today, tomorrow, which is Thursday, and Friday, but we've bumped his Friday to Tuesday next week. So he'll come in Tuesday, finish wiring up the control panel, get these other bits up and running. Hopefully by the end of Wednesday we'll be starting to get powered up and start getting stuff running. So catch up with you tomorrow.
So Connor and Ashley behind me are assembling the conveyor for the feed hopper. So very heavy duty conveyor, lots and lots of rollers, big thick channel on the sides, thick folded plate for the front and back panels. Yeah, to be honest, it's a big old conveyor. Not sure what else there is to say about this really, but yeah, they're assembling it. It's all going well so far. Touch wood, it carries on going well. This is conveyor 1, pretty much fully assembled as much as we want it to be in the workshop. So Connor and Ashley have sorted this out this morning. There's just a bit of tidying up, cleaning up to do on it, sort of wiping it all down. So yeah, this is again turned out alright. So this is a chain driven conveyor. We've got the motor here, which has a sprocket, shaft with a sprocket on the end. Chain runs, there's a tensioner in the middle, and then there is a sprocket on the end of the head drum. So this is sort of sitting inside the end of the trommel, hence why we can't have the motor right up against the head drum. So yeah, that is pretty much everything done on this now. This is what Ashley and Connor have been doing this morning. So I'll take you over to them now and show you what they've been doing for what they're currently doing. Connor, do you want to do a bit of talking about this? What you guys are up to?
Yeah, can do.
Perfect.
This is the trim feed conveyor, as you can see here. It is practically mainly together now. We've got the tail roller on, head roller on at the top, and if you follow me, with the returns roller down here, if you come down, we have all the underguards on, and the belt on. All that's left to do now is you have all your standard rollers, which I need to weld still, to go along here and touch under the belt, and then once that's on, the motor is downed and everything is tensioned, the hopper can go on top, and then it can be sent off to site.
So this stuff we've got in the back of the yard here came yesterday. So I think it's about 4:30 yesterday. A lot of this stuff arrived. So this is from a guy called Bob. So hi Bob, if you're watching this. He's a subscriber, I do believe, and he runs a company called SWS. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. And they take down warehouses. They empty them out, gut them, and we are doing some work alongside them. So I think we are modifying some of this. I think we're respraying some conveyors for him, all that sort of malarkey. And he's very kindly got us some other racking. So when we get our store sorted, most of that will have come from Bob and his clear outs. So yeah, this is something we are hopefully going to be getting on with soon. That is the feeder hopper, conveyor 1, some walkway mesh, all fully assembled. So this will be on site very shortly.
Little sit rep of where we're up to. It's raining here now, as you can see on my glasses. We've got the conveyor in there from the trommel. We're now just running grease lines from the tops of the bearings down. So remote greasers, because we've got some grease nipples at the top that are not easily accessible, what we do is we put remote greasers on. So what that consists of is you've got a standard bearing at the top. We take the grease nipple out, and then we put a fitting, which I'll show you in a minute up there, and then this black tube that you can't see very well on the camera, but this black, it's like a black nylon plastic tube. You cut it to length and it goes inside this fitting like that. And what you've got, it's a bit like plumbing, this is. You've got a nut and an olive, which I've just dropped. That's handy, isn't it? You get another one, I'll find that in a minute. So you have a nut and an olive. That olive there slips onto the pipe, fits in there, and as you do the nut up, it crimps it onto the plastic to create the seal. So that's how that works that end, and it's very similar to the other end. I'll just show you the fittings that screw into the bearings. You've got these fittings here, M6 thread on these to suit the bearings, and it's exactly the same on the other end. So you buy that for the bearing end, and then you get the bulkhead fitting, which goes through the plate. The grease nipple screws in there, hose in there. You get a length of hose that you just cut to length. You can buy the hose in either filled or non-filled with grease. We always have the non-filled with grease because I always think if you have the filled grease on a hot day, it could leak out and just make a mess. And then we just cut these plates on the plasma cutter as like a universal plate. You can just put as many in there. So there'll be a bank of grease nipples here that will then go off and grease remote greases. So the operator just has to come to here and put so many squirts of grease in each one, and everything's greased. Job done. Henry's putting in the picking bins on the picking line over there. Stuart's sorting grease nipples out on the bearings on some of the conveyors. So that's what we're doing now. Laurie, it's 10 o'clock now. Laurie has just left the yard with the feeder hopper and conveyor 1, bits and pieces on it, so that should be here about 1. We're going to get all that in this afternoon and then probably knock it on the head for this week, is the plan. So Adam's off on holiday again next week. So I'm going to sign this off now, and anything else we film the rest of today will be at the beginning of the next episode. So catch you soon. Now this week's fun fact is back on trains. Adam has done this, not me. This is Adam's fun fact. He finds a fun fact, and I think he's got a little fetish for trains. I don't know if he wasn't allowed to watch Thomas the Tank Engine when he was a bit younger, or whether he still watches it now. I have no idea, but this is about trains. It's also about meat. Okay, fun fact. In the 1950s, in London, they used the underground to transport meat from Smithfield Market, which is, if you're not from London, Smithfield Market, I think it's actually been closed. I think it's actually gone now, or he's going. But Smithfield Market is a big market in the middle of London where farmers would take their meat to sell, or, you know, it's full of butchers, and that's what it is. It's full of meat. And that's where restaurateurs and people would go and buy their meat from Smithfield Market. And what they did is they used the London Underground to move meat carcasses at night when the railway wasn't being used. Apparently they did it as a trial, didn't happen for very long, and they don't do it now. So yeah, 1950s, they used the London Underground to move meat around at Smithfield Market. So that's it for this week. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff, and we'll catch you next week. I'm back up here next Wednesday. The lads are up here Monday, Tuesday, carrying on with this install, but I will see you up here next Wednesday.
This isn't gonna, you can't put this on YouTube though.
And here Jesus shining in the light with a force that cannot be. Oh, I think I've done it, but I think the audio's still on.
Great. Right.
feeling the pressure, Adam?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
There's some in the back of my phone. You let this up, could you?